everybody. I'm Diana, and I want to welcome you to this episode of So Uncommon. So great to be with you all today. So last week, things were a bit crazy. I was redoing the room, had to get a new computer, had to get a new embroidery machine, all of that. So we had a little bit of an information-packed video, but I showed you a certain item in that video and said that we were going to talk about it in another video in more depth, and that's today. We're going to be talking about, you can call it illusion embroidery, you can call it illusion applique, you could even call it illusion lace if you wanted to, but the idea is that you use a netting to take a fill stitch design, pretty much any fill stitch design, and create a beautiful piece that can be appliqued to something that is very delicate. We'll talk more about it as we come. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate it. So last week I was telling you that we were getting on our way to 3,100 subscribers, and boy, you guys did not disappoint. You are so kind and so sweet. I think there was like 12 or 15 new subscribers this week, and I know for some of the big folks that's nothing, but for us that's wonderful, and I can't thank you all enough. So please, if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe and the bell so that you get notifications when I add new content. I truly appreciate it. And I'm still trying to figure out what to do when we hit that 3,100. To me, that 3,100 is kind of a big number. So if you have an idea, would you like a free pattern? Would you like a free class? Would you like some other kind of a giveaway? Let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. I really do. And please click that like button. The more likes we get, the better, in regards to like how YouTube will push our stuff out to a wider audience and stuff like that, which is so very appreciated, so that we can have a really lovely community and share all things quilting and embroidery. So thank you so much, everybody. And again, you can also read my blog over on my website, So Uncommon, and I have a few products out there now. Let's see, let me grab this one right over here. I've got my newest embroidery design, applied lace, pumpkin spice, makes everything nice. Nice little applied lace design to help get us ready for the autumn season, because this week, guess who showed up? Autumn showed up. In our area, autumn showed up the day before. It was 95 degrees. And the day that autumn kicked in, it was a lovely like 76. So it was really pretty. The temperature went way down, and now we're in the 60s. So autumn is really here. We're even starting to get color on the trees. I love that. So if you love autumn designs, you might want to go check this one out over at my website. I would appreciate that as well. And then, of course, I'm going to show you some other websites today. So I'll show you those links when we get to them. Okay. So today I want to talk to you about this idea of illusion applique, illusion embroidery. Let's just say illusion embroidery, because it really applies to applique. It applies to lace. It could be, it can be considered applique. It can be considered lace. So let's just say illusion embroidery. And why don't we just go right under my camera, and we'll get started, because a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you today is under the camera. And then I have some websites to show you too, to kind of give you some inspiration for designs, because really illusion embroidery can be done with just about any fill stitch design. So let's go ahead and go under my camera. Whoops, I keep going past it. There we go. So we'll start right here. Now, why illusion embroidery? Why do you even need to bother? This is a beautiful fill stitch design. It could be just embroidered right onto this towel, right? Well, the reason I started playing around with this and figuring this out was because this is a really lovely, light, delicate linen, and it's pretty see-through. Let's see, look at my hand under there. We can see, you can see my hand pretty easily. So let's put these scissors under there. You can see those pretty easily under there. So anything that is really delicate, although, I mean, there are certainly ways to embroider on delicate fabrics. I won't deny that. But working on delicate fabrics makes me a little nervous. I don't want to take the chance of messing them up. Now, I have a great tool that we'll talk about someday to help me pick out the right stabilizers and things like that. But I want to make sure that it's going to look just right. And here's the other thing about Illusion Embroidery. You can make a lot of these illusion pieces and kind of audition them. See what you really want on your project. So this, although it might look like it's stitched on this towel, is not. It is stitched on, the next thing I want to show you, on an illusion netting. Now you can find all kinds of netting, and an illusion netting is something that has a really fine weave to it. Very, very tiny. Illusion netting is often used in bridal. So some of you might know that I make bridal veils, lace bridal veils for brides in another part of my life. And so I use illusion netting all the time for that. And I use this process for this. I will tell you, illusion embroidery is not my original idea, but I hope that maybe I'm showing you lots of ways that we can use it at home, because this is a very old technique that was used for bridal and still in some places is used for bridal. So when I buy my netting, I like to keep a lot of white around because white can be used with just about everything. And I buy it in these rolls. And guess where I get it? You know, that big store begins with an A. It's online. They come to your house in the little blue vans now, almost as popular as the UPS vans, the Prime vans, right? So yeah, I get this on Amazon. It's just quicker for me because I live in a rural area, so I don't have access to it. But this netting comes in a bunch of other colors too, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So this is 6 inches wide. You don't really need anything wider typically. And I buy my white on a roll. I buy my colors by about the half yard, maybe sometimes by the yard, because I don't need as much of that. We'll talk about, like I said, we'll talk about that more in a moment. So that is the netting. Now let me show you some illusion pieces. So we saw this, but I want to show you some illusion pieces. These are fill stitch designs done right on that netting. Now I actually trim these pretty close up. There's a couple of ways you can apply these. I like using a two-sided permanent fusible because I put them down on my piece. Let's just turn our towel over here. We can kind of practice with this. So I put that on my piece. I use a Teflon ironing sheet, and I press with a two-sided fusible. With my fine linens and fine delicate fabrics, I usually hand wash those anyway. And with a permanent product, you're not going to really have a problem with it coming off or anything like that. And then what I love about these too is I can kind of, like I said, I can kind of audition where I want them. I don't have to decide beforehand in my embroidery process. And again, would I do this technique on a sweatshirt? No, I would just go ahead and stitch right on that sweatshirt. But for fine linens, like linen, actual linen cloth or lace or chiffon, things like that, this is a great technique. And so here is that other one. Now let's talk about these two fill stitch designs for a moment, because they really are a little bit different. This one is pretty dense right in here, and that's okay. You can do a dense design with this technique because you are always going to use 2 layers of your illusion netting. Okay, always 2 layers. 1 layer will not give you enough long-term stability when you're using a denser design. Okay, now also on this one looks really dense, but if you look really close, these satin stitches are fairly wide satin stitches. Again, that 2 layers of the netting is going to allow those to hold together and not be loopy and stuff like that. This is that's the back of it. Don't mind showing you the back of my work. And so they're nice and tight into that netting. So even though they're a wider satin, that is not a problem with this technique. So of course, this is a white towel, so the white works with this. But let me bring in another piece of linen. So I have this linen, these linen napkins that they came with that cute little crocheted lace trim. Isn't that pretty? But I love this color. It's one of my favorites. But I want to show you that the white netting works really well with that too. So really you want to audition your netting up next to your fabric color. However, if you're getting a fabric color, you can also use a netting that is close to or exactly as your fabric. I would easily use this beautiful aqua illusion netting on top of this color with no problem at all, because you want the background of your design to be an illusion. You want it to sink into that fabric. So on this color, that white does that. You really don't see that white there at all once you apply it. And for something like this particular napkin, I like to also use these on the table for to put flower vases and things on. So instead of putting lots of big stuff right in my center, where I'm going to put a vase or something like that and it's going to not be seen, I like to put things in my corners. Just add that extra little something. Illusion Embroidery is perfect for that on your linens. But again, back to the color idea. When you're doing color, match your netting to the color of your fabric, unless when you audition, the netting up next to it, the white will work with it. And truly, the reason I keep mostly white around is because white works with just about everything. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these nettings, because they come in a ton of colors, folks. I know there are at least 30 colors, and I bet there are more. But I keep a red. That one gets used a lot. I keep this royal blue. It almost looks purple under my camera, but it's a royal blue. I always have a little bit of black. And like I said, in my colors, I keep about half a yard to a yard around because I don't use it nearly as often as I use the white. Now, I do keep a couple yards of this kind of a cream or neutral, because again, if white might be a little too bright to blend on a color, this color can usually offset that brightness and blend right in. So let's take a look at our little netting here on top of our aqua. See how easily that blends on top of it? So if the white is a little too bright for you, this neutral color will work beautifully. This is actually a color I use a great deal for bridal, because a lot of brides like that kind of, it's called candlelight, and they like that color. It's really pretty. And then I usually have a little soft pink around and a little bit deeper of a beige around. And then I just happen to have that one too. I was doing for a project. So I keep several colors around so I have them when I want them. But if you don't know what you're going to need, I would suggest your buff color or your candlelight color and your white to start out, and maybe your black if you wanted to get a few different colors. So now I want to show you this one that was in process. I haven't taken it out of the stabilizer and all, because I want to show you what this process is like. So you're going to use your wash away stabilizer in your hoop, 2 pieces. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but you can get away with 1. Well, let me tell you, as somebody who does lace semi-professionally for the bridal industry, the industry standard is 2 layers. You want this to be really stable in the creation. One piece just can end up giving you really bad results when you're talking about doing a fill stitch design. Now, could you get away with one piece, one layer if it was lace? Maybe, but for fill stitch, you really want two pieces of your wash away stabilizer. And there's lots of brands out there. I've used, probably 3 or 4 brands of wash away stabilizer, and they all work great. So if you're already using a wash away stabilizer in your embroidery, please just go ahead and use it. It'll work fine for this process. You do not want to use the clear film that looks like a topper, and you don't want to use the heavy duty clear film that we use more for patch making, like the patches we put on jackets and caps and stuff. You don't want to use that heavy duty clear. It's actually a little too heavy when it comes to washing it away. And then here are my 2 layers of my Illusion netting, right? And so all I do, you can see here, is I like my netting to be at least partially hooped because I want it to stay a little bit taut in the hoop. So I just take my white when I'm using it like this. Now that was in a bigger hoop, but let's say I have my 4, let's say, hang on. Sorry to block your view there. I'm getting a tiny little hoop off the wall over here on the side. There we go. So I have this little bitty hoop. I think it's, I don't know, 2 by 3 or something like that. This is perfect for Illusion embroidery if you're going to do tiny pieces. I couldn't have quite gotten that one in there, but if you're going to do tiny little pieces, maybe this one, would that one fit in? No, that one's a little big too. But you could find really small pieces that you want to do and use a small hoop like this. But if I were going to use that hoop, I would only put in a double square of my Illusion netting about that big because I would want it to be hooped inside this hoop. Now, a lot of times what they call float things. Don't do that with this process, folks, because you want to keep this netting good and taut, okay? So just take your end and fold it over and make sure that your hoop is going to fit in it. Or like I did on this one, just make it sure at least 2 ends of it is going to fit in. I think I might have actually done this in a 4x4 and all of that fit in, but my stabilizer was bigger because these were pre-cut sheets. If you've never tried pre-cut stabilizer, you should do that. It's really nice to have it pre-cut. I love it. And I know there are a few brands out there now that do pre-cut sheets. So once you're done with your stitch out, then what you want to do is take really good applique scissors and you want to cut this out. Now, I recommend when you start, cut out maybe about 1/2 inch around the outside because you're going to want enough netting left to decide how you want to apply it to your fabric. You can, like I said, use a 2-sided permanent fusible. It just works really well. You know, when I think about it, Dime has a product called Patch Attach. It's a 2-sided fusible that's meant to attach patches to jackets and caps, things like that, right? But it actually is wonderful because it's a professional grade adhesive on there, and by pressing from the front and the back of your item, it is truly permanent. So I like using that. I've tried some other 2-sided fusibles, but that Patch Attach I really like. So your local fabric stores, anybody that you know carries Dime, or you could even check it out at Dime's website. It's called Patch Attach. And that's a 2-sided fusible that will definitely work for this process. So that's the one I would recommend because it truly is permanent. Okay, so once you're done, cut it out about 1/2 inch around because if you're going to add something to a veil, let me grab a little piece over here. Here's a little piece that I did. If you're going to do this on a veil, you're probably going to want to do very tiny stitches to attach it to the lace for the veil, or the Illusion netting, or you could do fusible, but a lot of times we will do very fine thread work, and we'll probably like add pearls and things into it so that you don't see that as much. But having that 1/2 inch around will give you more netting there to kind of decide how you want to attach it to your piece. But if you know you're going to fuse it down, then I would just come in 1/8 to 1/4 inch. Don't get really, really close like I did on this one. That's a bad cut on my point because my stitch is right there at the edge of that netting. I cut that one a little too close. So give yourself a tiny bit of a border. 1/8 to 1/4 inch if you know you're going to fuse. If you think you're going to whip stitch and add pearls or sequins around that design, then try about 1/2 inch, just so you know you have enough space. And then you can always trim any excess away at the end. But let's get back to our cutting because I want to talk to you for a second about your scissors. So I love 2 pairs of scissors by the same company, Karen K. Buckley. Let me move my piece out. And that is the 6-inch serrated blade scissor, perfect scissor, and the tiny little one. I don't even know what this blade is. It's super tiny. Lots of reasons I love Karen K. Buckley scissors. One is because I like these soft grips. I've had carpal tunnel surgery on both hands in the past. And so anytime I can do something to keep stress out of my hands, I do that. And these really take some of the stress off. Also, I love that you get a guard for your blades. You know, 1, these are super sharp points. But 2, you know, we pay good money for our tools. Let's keep them in good condition. Just leaving them out or throwing them in a box, you can easily start to chip and wear away at your blades just by them knocking up next to things. So when you're done, keep that cap on there. And I love that. But here's the main thing I love about Karen K. Buckley. And I know you can't see it on this camera because they're micro serrated, but the blades are serrated, and a serrated blade is so great for so many things. Let's just put it this way. You are going to get your cleanest cut fabric, lace, your Illusion netting, anything you cut, you're going to get your cleanest cut when you use a serrated blade. And so all of the Karen K. Buckley scissors are like that. So I like this size for what I call the gross cutting, and that means for like my general cutting out. I like that. But then I call these the teeny baby scissors because they're so cute. Look at how little. Now look at how pointy they are. They actually look like they could be a little bit evil if you got mad at somebody with those. So definitely keep your cap on those when you're not using them. But I love these for any kind of fine work. Let's bring in this little guy again. So let's say, there you can see a little bit better on this background. Let's say I needed to get closer into here. These little things cut that netting so easily. And I know some people actually use these for cutting fabric. I don't. I really believe these are thread snips. I mean, I could be completely wrong. Karen K. Buckley company might say, oh no, you can cut anything you want with them. I find they're really difficult to cut fabric with because these are really fine blades. But for your Illusion netting, oh my gosh, super simple. Just look, it just goes through that like butter, seriously, like butter. And so I love these, 1 for thread and 2 for doing my Illusion netting. Let me bring over this little piece again. You see some of my little tails here. I just come in and snip those right above my knots. And once they're applied to my fabric and fused, you'll never see what's left. And I don't want to cut below the knot, but I get rid of those longer tails. And these little scissors are perfect for those. Again, check out your local fabric shop, your local quilting store, wherever you get your sewing supplies. And they can probably, if they don't already have them, and a lot of places do, they can surely probably order them for you. So once you've cut your piece out, shall we go ahead and cut this piece out? Why not? So I would take my big Karen K. Buckley's, and I just pick up my whole piece, stabilizer and everything. And I just come in here and I do kind of what I call a gross cut, meaning no fine detail here. Like I'm not going in and out of my petals, anything like that. And I just cut, just kind of cutting around. Now, one thing I know about Illusion Embroidery, don't try to be perfect in your shapes when you're cutting, because it really actually looks better once applied if your shape is a little what you could call amorphous, where it's not a perfect circle or a perfect square, when it's just like a little, a little off, a little amorphous. I think that's the word. You guys have to forgive me. I'm actually a scientist in my other life, so I use those words. I do apologize. But it just means not a perfect shape. So here we go. We have some of this left. Now, honestly, there's enough illusion netting left over there, guys. I would save this because look, especially this piece right here, I could fold that together and that would go perfect in my little guy right there. No problem at all. So, I would cut away like these little thin strips and all, but if I had enough left over where I could put it in a hoop, I would definitely keep my netting because it can be reused. Would I reuse any of my wash away? Well, yeah, I might, because that could certainly fit in that small hoop. So yes, I will keep that to use in my small hoop for sure. Okay. So now I have kind of what we call the gross cut or the big cut. Now I'm going to take it to a bowl of warm water. Now, you know this process if you've ever used wash away stabilizer. You're going to take it to a bowl of warm water. And guys, I want you to use a pretty good temperature of warmth, okay? Not just like barely warm, not hot. I don't want you to come away with red hands because you've had your hands in the hot water, but a pretty good temperature, okay? And then just plop it in there and let it sit 15 minutes. Now, all of this stabilizer will go away before that, but with Illusion Applique or Illusion Embroidery, that's what we're going to call it, right? Illusion Embroidery, you want as much of the stabilizer, the starch, because washaways are made with starch. That's why they do not mess up our plumbing, because they're starch. Just like if you poured a pot of potato water down the sink, that would be like probably dissolving 2 great big sheets of your stabilizer in water and putting those down your sink. It's that same idea. So you want as much of that gone as possible. So set a timer, walk away, and in 15 minutes, come back, take your piece out. You're not going to see your stabilizer anymore. And then just let it dry. You know what I like to dry my lace or my Illusion Embroidery on? Paper plates, like the Dixie paper plates, the one that aren't Chinette. They're not like the raw paper. They've got like some sort of a coating or something on so stuff doesn't sink into it, doesn't get all full of sauce and stuff and then plop over, right? You've seen those commercials. So I just set them on a plate and let them dry. I don't do anything to them. I kind of, pat them down. I might take a lint-free cloth and pat the excess water out for sure, but I don't put them on a towel that has lint on it, because that lint will get into here and you're never going to get it out. Ask me how I know that. So just go ahead and let them sit. And even if you do a bunch of them during the day and you soak them at night and then put them on your plates or wherever you're going to dry them. I have one friend, she dries hers on the wire racks that we put cookies on after cookies bake. She dries all of her Illusion Embroidery and lace on something like that. So there's lots of things you can do. So do them all at night, soak them, and then lay them out and let them dry overnight. They're not going anywhere, I promise you. They don't have legs. And then when you're done, you end up with your piece like this, and you're ready to start doing your what's the word I'm looking for? Fusible. You're fusing. Gosh, I couldn't think of it. And so like this one again, I love that just in the corner there. Or if you're going to do something larger in the center of a piece, you could certainly do that. Sorry, I'm off on my where my camera's at today. It's over a little bit from where it used to be, so I'm still getting used to it. But then you're ready to put your pieces on your delicate fabrics. Again, linen, lace, chiffon, silk, anything like that that is a fine fabric. This technique works really well. Now I want to take you real quick into the online, because I want to share some sites with you where you can get some really gorgeous embroidery designs. Now, you might have a favorite embroidery site where you get your designs. Totally cool. In fact, if you have a favorite embroidery site where you like to purchase designs, would you put it in the comments below? I'd love to know what that is. We can get a little resource of different websites going for everybody. And I'll even put a post out in a blog or something over on my website so everybody can grab that. In fact, I'll make it a little free download so that everybody can have a sheet full of all of their different embroidery sites that they like to go to for design. So just pop your choices down below. I'll make up a little cheat sheet as a download, and I'll put out some information on where you can get it. Well, you'll just be able to get it over in my website, but I'll let you know when it's ready, okay? So the first one I brought up here is OESD / Scissortail Stitches. Now, if you know OESD, you know that they and Scissortail Stitches are sister companies. They used to have 2 different websites. Now they're all on one. Thank goodness. I love that. But I love Designs by Scissortail Stitches. And the thing I really love about this company is they're the ones that Tula Pink works with for all of her embroidery designs. In fact, her new Moon Garden collection is available. And you know, that's already at my house. I love her embroidery collection. But there's something I want to show you about how they work their designs in case you don't know. So let's go into this tab here that says specials, and let's look at bargain collections. So when you come in here, they have some really great collections. And by collections, they mean multiple designs available at really good prices as well. 39 down to 10, 29 down to 10. That's great. So let's look at these majestic animals. We'll click quick view. Now that just brings up the one. So let's actually click on the whole piece, because what I want to show you is you can get the whole collection for $10. And in that collection, you're also getting all of these little guys. So there's some nice flourishes and feathers here. I love those. I love that peacock. Look at that angel wing. Oh, I have some thing about angel wings. I just think they're gorgeous. So I love that one. But let's say that you don't care about the angel wings. You don't want these big, beautiful lions and tigers or the horses, but you saw this swan and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to have that swan for a piece of Illusion Embroidery. Well, look what you can do. You can click on just the one design. Let's click on it. There we go. And you can purchase just the single design. You don't have to purchase a whole collection. And look, you can get just the one design for $1. So that's fantastic. I love that they do this. Now, for me, if there are at least half a dozen of these designs that I would love to have, I'll just get the whole collection. Like, I know I love that moth. I know I love the swan. I love the wings. I love all of these feathers. Yeah. I love the hummingbird. This collection is mine. I actually love this lion too. So this would be a collection I'd purchase in total, but that might not be your thing. So you can, what I want to show you here is you can choose individual designs from collections. So when you see something as a collection, don't think that you have to purchase a whole collection from this website. I love that they do that. And there's tons more gorgeous things on embroidery online for OESD / Scissortail Stitches. When we go back to our main camera, I will for sure show you those websites so you can write them down. There's another one called embroiderydesigns.com. I have a little bit of soft spot for this company because they are really just about 20 miles up the road from my home. And so, I kind of support the local folks that way. But they have a ton of designs in here. I mean, super duper cute. If you have military folks, they do have military embroidery designs in here, which I love. This one, cute, bottoms up, which is super cute. And of course, somebody told me the other day, oh, they've had enough gnomes. Gnomes are just, the trend is gone. Gnomes are not a trend. There are places in this world where gnomes are serious business in their folklore and their history. So gnomes are not a trend, and I think they're kind of cute. I love them. In fact, stay tuned because I just finished 2 new patterns that have super cute gnomes. I'm just writing up the instructions this week, so I hope to have them out on the website by the end of next week. I'm not even going to tempt you with photographs. You're going to wait till next week because I'll show them to you next Sunday on our next in our next video. But I think they're super cute. Now, if they're not your thing, don't worry about it. But yeah, gnomes are not a trend. Gnomes are serious business in different places in the world. So let's not, because some of them have special powers and stuff. So let's not talk down the gnomes, okay? And of course, oh, look at little baby Yoda. Now I know he has a name, but in our house, he's just baby. In our house, he's baby Yo-Yo. So that's what we ended up calling baby Yoda when that show was on. But they have tons of cute things in here. Like I love the butterfly here. And let's just bring that one up. This would be gorgeous on a piece of Illusion embroidery. I would even put that on that beautiful linen napkin I had in the corner. I might change up my blues to make them a little more aqua, but that would be stunning as a piece of Illusion embroidery. Because remember, fill stitch designs make really great Illusion embroidery. That's what I started to put it together as something that you could do with fill stitch designs. So that butterfly would be gorgeous. And of course, they have tons of different things up here. And then one more side I wanted to show you, because I know that a lot of my super dear friends, actually they're sisters of my heart over in the UK, they love Designs by Juju, and so do I. Designs by Juju has some really beautiful designs in here. They also have, I know they have like quilting designs. So for all of our quilting in the hoop, they have that as well. But some of these are just super duper cute. I thought there was one that I wanted to show you all that would be super cute. These right here. We're kind of on a fall theme, right? Fall is here now. So these fall trios in this little bundle, $8 for that bundle, not bad at all. And I think those are super cute. Fill stitch designs, they would make super Illusion embroidery. They just make super embroidery, period. So let's go back into our main screen. Let me quit sharing that screen there. And let me share with you those 3 website addresses so you can, got your pencil and paper ready so you can jot them down. So the first one I wanted to tell you about for Patch Attach. So Patch Attach is the 2-sided permanent professional grade fusible that I was telling you about from Dime. This is Dime's website. Now, if you have a local shop that sells Dime products, folks, please support local. I know that Dime would want you to do that as well. So please support local, but the product is called Patch Attach. Simple to remember. Now, here is the one for OESD/scissor tail stitches. It's www.embroidery. Whoops. That is incorrect. It's embroideryonline.com. Can I fix this? I don't know. Can I fix it? Oh, I can fix it. Hang on, let me fix this. Technology can be really good when you can fix your mistakes right online. I like that. All right, let's bring that one back up. There we go. So it's www.embroideryonline.com. OESD/scissor tail stitches. Scissor tail stitches is their, I've heard some people call them the more modern designs. I don't know if I would agree with that, but they're beautiful. They do a lot of designer pieces through there and stuff. So I love all of the stuff from what is now a single entity. I just love everything this company does. Really great stuff. And then here is the embroidery designs. It's www.embroiderydesigns.com. Super easy, right? I love when companies have super easy websites like mine, sewincommon.com. YouTube channel, Sew in Common. Really easy to find me, right? I love that. Try to make it easy for you guys. Really, there's so many things out there. And then Designs by Juju, which is www.designsbyjuju.com. So super simple. Don't forget, folks, comment below on the websites that you like to visit for your embroidery designs. I'll make a cheat sheet. I'll put it out. I'll let you know when it's ready. I'll put it out on my website so you can go and grab it as a free download. And that way you'll have that as a resource to check out all those places when you're looking for designs. Because, you know, if you're like me, you've got more designs than you'll ever stitch in your life. But some of them are so doggone cute, you can't help yourself. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's video about Illusion Embroidery. It really is quite fun. And I really love doing it for my delicate fabrics. You know, I've been known to pop a piece of Illusion Embroidery on the back of a quilt as part of my quilt label, because then you don't have to stitch it on and have to worry about how do I get that on after it's been quilted and all that. So I love it for that as well. So once again, folks, please, if you have not already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It means the world to me. And click the little bell so you get notifications. Click the like button. That really means a great deal, apparently, to YouTube. And it means a great deal to me, too, because all of you folks that watch, really, I wish there was a way for us all to get together in one big place and meet up. That would be super fun. And then also my website, sewincommon.com. That's where my products are, my designs. There are a few things over there. Like the brand new one. Where is it? Here we go. Let's show it again. There we go. Pumpkin spice makes everything nice. Great for a little tea towel or a little mat, mug rug, something like that. And you get a few sizes with this. I think I've made it in 3 sizes. So I've got one that's perfect for a mug rug, one that's perfect for a towel, and one that's a little bigger if you want to make like a little banner or something like that to hang in the kitchen. That would be great. And then my blog is over there. And if you go to my website, folks, please go down to the bottom of the homepage and subscribe. That way, when I send out, post my blogs, you'll get them automatically, okay? And that way you don't have to wonder, has she put out a new blog yet? That kind of stuff. So until next time, I'm looking for my piece. You know what I'm going to say. Go sew life beautiful, everybody. Have a great week. And until we see you next time, sew life beautiful. Leave comments. Can't wait to hear from you. Bye for now.